Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I have a first burn impressions video, I guess you can call it, for you guys today. Going to be talking about some of the 3-wick candles that Kringle launched last week as part of a sort of surprise add-on to the already anticipated reserve launch. Last Thursday, they launched 4 new reserve fragrances, and then I think Wednesday afternoon there was an email saying that they were also going to be adding, I think, 19 3-wicks to that launch, and they were launched on a bundle deal, which was, you know, exciting. Kringle usually doesn't launch anything on any sort of sale price, so 3-wicks came out 3 for $33, and you can buy them individually, I think, for $24, but 3 for $33, excuse me. It's a pretty good deal for Kringle 3-wicks. So they got me. I purchased two deals worth of fragrances, but I did double up on 2 of the scents, so only 4 different ones altogether. So I will be talking about each of those individually. I've burned them all once, except for one I burned twice. So, you know, I know some of you were waiting for some thoughts on those before you made the purchase. So I wanted to get that information out to you guys. These arrived to me on Monday evening, and I'm filming this on a Wednesday, so I had just a couple days to work with, so just some short burns, but I will be sharing my thoughts, and I'm going to timestamp them here, so if there's something you're looking for specifically or that you're interested in more than the others, you know, take a look in the description and you can find, you know, whatever it is that you're looking for. But if you've got a few minutes, I'm going to do just a little bit of a discussion around this launch. Just some things I wanted to share with you guys before I get into that. So if you've got a few minutes, grab a quick snack, and you know, we'll have a little bit of a candle chat before we get into the first impressions of these fragrances. All right, so when the list of 3-wicks came out, I was super excited to see a pistachio on the list. If you've been following me for any length of time, I have been like waiting and waiting and waiting for Kringle to come out with a new pistachio candle, a new one. They had a pistachio candle a while ago called Pistachio Gelato in the Country Candle line. And maybe you see where I'm going with this. After I placed my order, I finally kind of went back in, and once I had a chance to kind of sit down and look through the notes, and I wanted to decide if there was any more that I wanted to grab on the 3 for $33 sale before they sold out of things, because it was going to be a limited run. There was one that jumped out at me, Life's a Beach. And I said, wait a minute, that feels really, really familiar. And I ran downstairs to my little collection of candles, and I found, oh, here's Life's a Beach in the Country Candle line. And I said, oh, I wonder if this is the same scent. And then I went on the Kringle Facebook group, and somebody had asked, is Life's a Beach and a Love and Roses, are they the same scents as the old Country Candle versions? And it was confirmed that they were. And I said, uh-oh, I think I might have got duped, because I went then to look at what the notes were for the original Pistachio Gelato fragrance, which I have here. Pistachio Gelato notes sound eerily familiar to the Pistachio Crema notes that were listed for the 3-wick. And, you know, now that I have both here side by side, I can 100% confirm this smells the same to me. The only difference being that this is a new fresh soy pour, and this is a really dirty sort of burning old paraffin jar. But, you know, these are the same scents. And, you know, I don't like feeling deceived. I have no problem with repackages, especially when they keep the same name. So like Life's a Beach, you know, I have no problem with them repackaging this in a 3-wick design and, you know, bringing out the same scent. That's totally fine. I actually love when they bring back retired scents, you know, for new people to enjoy, or for you to find old favorites again. You know, that's fine with me. I do wish they said, like, in their description somewhere that this is the retired Life's a Beach. But, you know, I can get over that. I can get past that because they didn't change the name. For Pistachio Crema, you know, why did you do 2 that had the same name and then one that where you changed the name to make it look new when it's not? And that bothered me a little bit. So guys, you know, I hear a lot that ambassadors aren't critical enough. You only give the positives. Well, you know, I feel like I had to say something because I felt bad, A, that I promoted this as something new when it wasn't, and that I didn't catch it for you guys sooner. But, you know, I had to say something because I don't like that. And I wish they would stop doing that. I mean, it's not that hard, I feel like, to put a little note in a description that, you know, this is formerly known as that, or, you know, repackage of this, or whatever the case may be. You know, I hate when companies do that. It kind of feels icky. You know, I feel deceived into buying 3 more candles than I would have, because I bought 2 of the Pistachio Crema, which unfortunately I didn't love pistachio gelato. So I was kind of disappointed to find out that this was 2 more candles now that I bought of something that I didn't love to begin with. And, you know, I probably would have just bought 1 had I known, because I would have wanted to kind of compare and see, like, I really don't like burning the pistachio gelato anymore, just because it is so dirty. And I'm kind of over that dirty paraffin burn, to be honest. So I would have bought 1, even if I knew it was the same, just to kind of see if there was any difference, but I wouldn't have bought 2, and which would have led me to not buy 2 bundle deals altogether. So I kind of feel deceived out of $33, which, you know, isn't a huge deal in the grand scheme of things. It's a great deal, you know, in itself for 3 wicks, but it's not the point. So that bothered me. So, you know, if you think ambassadors can never be critical, there you go. There's something critical. And just know this is not like a big rant. This comes from a place of love. Like, you know, I don't want people to be turned off from a brand because of stuff like that. And I know that people do get turned off from brands because of stuff like that. You know, when that happened with the painted jar 3 wicks, when they, you know, renamed a couple, like, people were upset about that. And, you know, I don't know even if there's any others that are repackages. There's one I kind of wonder if maybe it is, but because it was kind of before my time, I can't confirm it. But yeah, I just don't like when companies do that. And I would hate to see somebody be turned off from Kringle because of something like that, something so small that, you know, you don't really need to do. So, you know, that's my little, I guess, not a rant, but, you know, my little complaint, I guess. And, you know, hopefully, I don't want this, like, to turn into a whole big, like, you know, griping on Kringle and all, or any of that. I don't want this to turn into a big thing in the whole comments section. But, you know, I'm sorry, guys, if I felt like if I deceived you in any way, like, if you felt like I was deceiving you, you know, that wasn't my intention. I was really, really disappointed, you know, when I discovered that this was the same scent. So I am sorry about that. And, you know, I guess that's enough about that. I don't want to harp on it. It was just something that bugged me that I wanted to point out. So, you know, at the end of the day, yeah, I'm an ambassador, but I'm also just a customer. I was a customer before I became an ambassador, and I will be probably a customer long after they decide they don't need my services anymore. So, you know, it is what it is. But, yeah, let's get into just kind of going through these scents. I bought 4. I guess we'll start with the Pistachio Crema. All right, so for Pistachio Crema, which here we have the former Pistachio Gelato, we have notes of dropped pistachio, sweet pralines, and sugared vanilla cream. So, I mean, like, nice label again, nice green wax. I do like, you know, the black and green here, but I burned this for a few hours yesterday, and I feel like it's pretty consistent to the original pistachio gelato that I have here. So, I mean, I feel like there's a subtle difference just from this being an old dirty paraffin. You can see, like, the wax is really sort of discolored on top there. It kind of changed the scent just slightly. But this feeling a little bit fresher, a little bit smoother. So I did enjoy burning this a little bit more yesterday than I have, like, my past burns of this, the old version. So, I mean, scent-wise, the thing that I'm not totally in love with here is that it still has sort of a body care, like, lean, I guess, or a wearable lean, so to speak. I would still put it in, like, the gourmand category. It's not, like, perfumey per se. It just feels wearable. And, you know, for me, it's not even that I necessarily dislike the fragrance. I needed to be a little bit more of a true gourmand, a little bit more of a richness to it. I really like a more, like, creamy, sort of like vanilla based pistachio. If I were to design my own pistachio fragrance, it would be something along the lines of a pistachio cannoli, where you have a nice, like, creamy vanilla base with that pistachio mixed in there and maybe, like, a little bit of a bakery undertone. I mean, I feel like pistachio gelato versus pistachio crema, I would put this more in line with a sorbet than something creamy, because this is just lacking a certain creaminess. You do get the pistachio. It has a hint of, just a hint of that like sort of cherryish lean, but not as much as some others. Like if you're familiar with the vendor wax world, like pistachio pudding cake. Yeah, that's the oil. That one I feel like has a little bit more of a cherry lean than this. This is a little bit more nutty, but it does have that like hint of that cherry-like quality, almost almondy-like quality. And you know, you do get that vanilla in there in the background, but it has more of a light and airiness that for me, it's more like a pistachio sorbet maybe, than rather like a creamy gelato or a creamy like crema, whatever that is supposed to mean. You know, it's just lacking for me a little bit more depth and a little bit more richness that I'm looking for personally in a pistachio fragrance. You know, the thing that it kind of reminds me a little bit of, if you've ever smelled, I think it's Jergens, like a cherry almond lotion. If you remember that, I don't even know if they still make it. Like it's been a while since I've smelled that, but that's what it kind of like makes me think of sometimes when I'm smelling it. That does dissipate a little bit as it's burning, but you know, it's not what I'm looking for essentially in a pistachio something. I want something more rich and decadent, and you know, this just isn't that. So I will burn this. I think I'll enjoy this much more than I was enjoying my dirty burner over here, which is, you know, ultimately why I feel like I never really had the chance to grow on me, as I just didn't want to burn it because it was just so kind of icky. And, you know, I'm glad to have at least one here in the soy version. I probably wouldn't have bought two had I known, but I don't know, maybe this will grow on me as it goes. But yeah, I mean, I do feel like I'm enjoying it a little bit more so far in the soy, so I'm trying to keep an open mind. I overlapped this one a little bit with, where is it? Grandma's Lemonade. And I felt like the acidity was kind of a nice contrast. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm hoping it grows on me a little bit. I think once I get over the initial disappointment that this isn't a new scent, that maybe I will kind of warm up to it. But you know, that's just me. That's my take on the Pistachio Crema. All right, since I just mentioned this one, I guess we'll do it next. Grandma's Lemonade. This is a nice, like, what you would expect is what you get sort of fragrance, at least to me. We've got notes of lemon juice, pineapple, and vanilla sugar. Don't let the pineapple juice throw you. I do feel like there's a little bit of pineapple in here, but it's more of a compliment. It's not coming across as a standout note or a tropical note or anything like that. It's very lemon. I get a nice slice of fresh lemon, so juicy slice. You've got a tartness to it. I get a little bit of that lemon rind as well, like that lemon peel, but very nice fresh lemon. It doesn't have a cleaner tone to me. I think it's helped by the sugar underneath it and the pineapple juice adding a little bit more depth to the lemon, but it doesn't come across as cleaner like to me. Just very refreshing, very much like a kitchen lemon type of scent. And the sugar here is just a nice contrast. It doesn't go too sweet or too cloying. It still keeps that tartness there as well. It just kind of helps balance it out a little bit more. But I really like this one. I wish I had gotten two of this one instead of two of the pistachio. But like I said before, like it did make kind of a nice sort of like tart contrast to the pistachio candle as well. So I don't know. That sounds like kind of a weird combination, but maybe it's not. But I really like this one. It's performed well so far. This is only one short burn, but I was getting a fairly medium projection out of it as far as the you know, strength and intensity. And if you liked the tartness of like lemon sugar marshmallow, but you're not a big fan of the bakery element, try this one, because I feel like this has a little bit of that same sort of tart lemon quality that I get in lemon sugar marshmallow, or Sweet as Can Be, but without that sort of bakery undertone. So this is a really nice one. If you know, if you're a big lemon fan, I feel like for the 3 for $33, grab yourself one or two, give it a try. You know, I might actually, if this sticks around by the time I order again, I might grab one more. I actually really, really like this one. All right, so next I've got Mystic Trail. Nice label. I was really excited for this one. I love, you know, the fall notes here. We've got fresh berries, apple, autumn leaves, caramel and spice, sugar, and woods. And, you know, I mean, that screams fall on paper. And on cold, you know, it does feel like a fall scent. At the bare bones of this fragrance, I feel like it almost smells like a little bit like if you took Bath & Body Works Cider Lane, which I know a lot of you are probably familiar with, very like caramel apple type of scent with a little bit of like woods and leaves in there. And I'm talking about the original. I feel like that one's changed over the years. Like, I feel like the original was the best and nothing else has really quite smelled the same, but kind of like a little bit of that Cider Lane quality to there. And then if you took berries and mixed them in that, like, it's just, there's just something a little bit odd about it to me. Like, I don't hate it. I don't dislike it, but it's not totally working for me either, if that makes sense. And I don't know if it's just not what I was expecting or what it is. It's also quite a bit sweeter than I would have anticipated. Now, I know they have notes here of caramel and sugar as well, but it's just a little bit sweeter. I think I need like maybe a little bit more leaf or maybe a little bit more tartness to the berry to kind of cut that sweetness a little bit. I burned this one twice because on cold I was a little skeptical. First burn, I was still a little skeptical, and I said, let me just do this one more time before I come talk to you guys. So I burned it last night for a few more hours, and it did start to grow on me, that second burn. So maybe it just needs a little time to kind of come together. I have that happen a lot with these fresh pours. This is poured, it looks like, March 13th. So, I mean, pretty fresh. So maybe if this one sits a little bit, it will kind of just come together a little bit more, but I don't know. I'm not totally sold on it. Performance, I will say, was good. It was the strongest of the 4 that I tried. And I would say like a medium to medium high intensity once it got a nice full pool going and a good projection. But yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about this scent. This is really weird for me because I almost don't even know how to describe it. It's just really, really sweet. And I don't think I was expecting it to be quite so sweet. But yeah, I don't hate it. It's just, I don't know. I need more time with it. So I'm sorry. That's probably not super helpful to you guys. But if you like Cider Lane, you might like this one. It's almost like, maybe because I'm so familiar with the way Cider Lane smells. And that was like the first thing I picked up on with this one, that the berry almost makes it feel out of place. I don't know. I don't know, guys. But if you pick this one up, please let me know in the comments. Like, what are your thoughts? Do you love it? Do you, is it perplexing you like it's perplexing me? Let me know. But that's Mystic Trail. All right. So the last one I picked up because I needed a third candle to add to my second bundle. Otherwise, I probably would have passed on this one. But I actually really like it. That's Vacay. So nice label there. We've got notes of pineapple, sweet apple, floral, and coconut. Which, I wasn't really sure about the apple. I wasn't really sure about the floral. But this is really, really nice. It's kind of in the same vein of Kringle Candle's Fiji. If you've had that one, it's one of their popular summery sort of fragrances. I would say it's kind of in that kind of similar category where you have a little fruit, you have a little floral. It's beachy without being like super heavy coconut. I get the pineapple and I get the apple, which, it's a little bit sweet with that fruitiness, but then it's kind of contrasted a little bit, mellowed out a little bit with the floral note. And then I feel like the coconut here, like I love coconut, but I know not everyone does. So if you're sensitive to coconut, maybe you'll pick it up a little bit more. But for me, I feel like it's kind of a little bit more to the background. Like it's there, it's adding that sort of like tropical quality, but it's not leaning sunscreen, nor is it leaning too heavy into like a tropical drink. I really like it. And the projection, like the throw, the strength, it was pretty good for the first burn. I only had a few hours here. You can kind of see the wax pool, but it's really a pretty wax color for this candle and almost looks like an ocean wave with the line there. But yeah, this is really nice if you like sort of tropical scents that aren't like strictly beach suntan lotion, coconut, aren't like your fruity umbrella drink. This is like nice, almost a slightly wearable quality to it, I guess, which usually isn't my thing unless it's done right. But like, I like the way this is done with the floral not being too overwhelming. You still get the fruit. And you still get that like tropical essence without it being like your typical tropical. I don't know. I just really like it. So I'm glad I picked it up ultimately. And I think another one that comes to mind, like comparatively, like if you like Fiji White Sands from Bath and Body Works, this has a little bit more fruit. I think it's a little bit sweeter, but kind of like similar. I think maybe Tiki Beach. I haven't smelled that one in a while, but I feel like that one's also like a fruity sort of beachy. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, if that's your type of scent, you might really enjoy Vacay. And you know what, guys, for 3 for $33, I've got 2 I really like, and you know, 2 that I'm kind of okay with. So hopefully I warm up to Mystic Trail a little bit more. I think I'll kind of come around to the Pistachio Crema, but yeah, I mean, not a bad haul. I'm not, you know, I'm not too mad. I just, you know, felt like I had to point out that one thing there at the beginning here. So, you know, I don't want to harp on it again, but please, you know, be nice in the comments. Let's not hate on Kringle. This was never intended to be like a negative party here. Like, I really almost hate to open that box of worms, but I guess if you wanted, I guess we can go do one more bonus. You guys want one more bonus like review here? Life's a Beach. Because the Through Wick, I'm told, is the same as this retired Life's a Beach. This is for those looking for something closer to Yankee Candle's Sun and Sand. This is different. I feel like it's a little bit more floral. It's a little bit less copper tony than Sun and Sand is. More like the end of your beach day, where if Yankee Candle's Sun and Sand, where it's very much sunscreening to my nose, like if that's like the height of the beach day, lathering on the sunscreen, this is more like the end of the night. You kind of have a little bit of that scent still on your skin, but maybe you've changed some fresh clothes. You freshen yourself up a little bit with like a little bit of a beachy floral perfume. There's warmth here from some sandalwood as well. Like, it's just kind of a soothing at the end of a beach day sort of fragrance. I really, you know, I don't know if I like it enough to burn a whole large jar, so I don't really know why I picked this up. Maybe it was the label. I think I'm a sucker for a good label. But, you know, I like it enough that if I go back in for a second order, I would consider getting the 3-wick. So I don't know. But a nice scent if you like that sort of thing. And I think there was one, is it Sand and Santal from the Country Candle line, like one summer ago? I can't remember. That was sort of in this kind of same vein, but probably I had wax melts of that, and I don't really remember how close it was to this. But yeah, it kind of in that sort of Sun and Sand sort of family. Just, I feel like I like this one a little bit more than the Sun and Sand. Yeah, definitely a little bit more. But yeah, so a bonus, quick little bonus here at the end of this video. But you know, thank you guys for watching, and I hope to be able to record something maybe next week. My kids are going to be on spring break next week, so it might be a little bit tricky for me to get any more you know, content recorded, but I'm going to try my best. And, you know, I want to thank you guys again for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. I would really love to, you know, grab a few more subscribers. Just trying to grow this channel. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you for doing that. And, you know, I hope to be talking to you soon. But if you don't hear from me for a little while, it's because the kids are on break and probably driving me crazy. So, anyways, have a great day, weekend, whatever it is that you're watching this, and take care of yourselves out there, and I'll talk to you guys soon.